All right, so I want to clarify something. You see, when we are talking about witches and wizards, you need to understand something that it is possible to be a witch and not know. It is possible to be operating as a witch and not know. Because um, if you are wishing people evil, if you are desiring that bad thing will happen to somebody, and when you hear bad news about people, you tend to rejoice, you find fulfillment in the tragedy and the pains and the sorrow of somebody else, it means you're a witch. That's what it means. If the pains and the tears and the sorrow of somebody else is making you happy, you desire to hear that somebody died, you desire to hear that somebody lost their job, you desire to hear that somebody lost their marriage, you desire to hear that somebody lost their child, you just find joy and fulfillment and happiness, satisfaction in the tears and the pains of others. And sometimes you even go further to inflict pains on them, you know, probably um, gossiping them or snitching on them to lose their job, setting traps for them to fall into, trying to sow bad seed in their marriage so they can lose their marriage. Whatever you do to hurt somebody else automatically makes you a witch, it means you're a witch. So when we are talking about witches and wizards, some of you think that is one old woman or your mother-in-law. So some people think that when we say about witches and wizards, you think it's your mother-in-law. Or sometimes you feel that a witch or a wizard is the person that flies at night, turns to a bird, or a cat at night. I want to let you know it is possible to be going to church and be a witch or a wizard. Some of you, when you hear the testimony of somebody else, you are not happy. When you hear that someone is getting married, you are not happy. You feel like, why should this person get married? You feel like, why should this person have a child? Why? So you are questioning the good thing that is happening in the life of somebody else. Why should this person get their visa to travel out? Why? Why can't this person stay in pains and sorrow so they can depend on me, right? So they can depend on you to keep taking care of them. So whenever you hear that something good is happening in the life of the person, and that breaks the dependency, they are able to do things for themselves. They started their own business, things are working for them. The person got married, the person is pregnant to have a child. You don't want to hear that. If the only thing you want to hear about people is bad news, then you're a witch. You are very wicked. You are very evil. Very, very evil. You see, there are people that are only happy when they hear that you lost your job. When they hear, or when they notice that you are jobless, they are happy. They notice that you are having crisis in your marriage, they are happy. They notice that somebody died in your family, they are happy. They feel like God is paying you back for everything you did. So I want you to change your orientation from today. If you're the kind of person who rejoices or who is probably waiting for bad thing to happen to people so you can rejoice and celebrate, you're a very wicked person. And I've seen such people in church. I've seen such people in church. You see, I've been in church all my life. I've been in church all my life. I came to a point that I got tired of church people. I just got tired of church people. And you see, when you get tired of church people, that is when you start serving God. If you don't get tired of church people, you will never serve God. So you need to come to a point where you are fed up with church people. Then you decide to focus on God. not church politics and church games and some funny tricks and manipulation people do to gain positions in church. When you come to that point where you know you are coming to church to serve God, your heart will be cleansed and purged. Well, that's a topic for another day. I just want to say this. If the testimony of somebody does not make you happy, it means you're a witch. It means you are evil, you are dangerous, you are wicked, you have an evil heart, and you shouldn't be in church. You shouldn't be a Christian. Yeah, you shouldn't be a Christian. And that is why I normally say that. That's why I normally tell people, especially those who are believing God for a wife or a husband, I normally tell them, don't marry somebody because you see them in church. I mean, it's good to go to church, don't get me wrong. But what I'm trying to say is, don't let that not be the reason that you want to marry the person. Observe the person's character. Observe the person's character. Because most of us, we are so churchy. We go to church every day, but we are so wicked. We have dark heart, evil heart. You know, you just want to hear bad things about people. You just want to hear bad news about people. You want to hear that somebody went through a divorce. It gives you joy to gossip and talk about it. You want to hear that somebody failed an examination, maybe their NCLEX examination. You want to hear that somebody lost their job, somebody had an accident. You want to hear that a family member died. You feel like that God is revenging and paying them for what they did. Aren't you so wicked if you are thinking that way? That's not what Christianity is. That's not what being a Christian and a child of God means. If you're a child of God, you see, I did something one time. Let me share this with you and I'll end this video. Some years ago, and this was after I went through some breakups with people, you know, went into some relationships between the age of 30 and I think 36. So relationships that didn't work out. And I did something. I wrote the names of all the ladies that I was dating, the ladies I went into a relationship with at different times. So I have their names and I started praying for them, blessing them. I started blessing them. I started praying for them because at that time, the enemy wanted me to be angry, to have bitterness, to have anger, to be unforgiving. So one of the ways I forgive people or release people in my heart to let them go, you know, is to intercede for them, to pray for them, to release blessings. So I started praying for them. I kept praying for them that God will bless them, give them a good husband. And some of them got married, happily married. As I'm talking, some of them are happily married, if not all. So I kept praying for them. And one day, the Holy Spirit said to me, stop praying. So when the Holy Spirit told me stop praying for them, I knew that the pain already lifted. You know, the anger lifted, the bitterness lifted, unforgiveness lifted. So I want to tell you something. If you cannot pray for somebody else to be blessed, something is wrong with you. The best way to be nice to people and kind to people is to pray for them. There are people I'm praying for that don't know I'm praying for them. You know, it's very important that you have a good heart towards people. Think good thoughts towards people. See beyond yourself. Love people, forgive people, let go. If somebody hurts you, forgive, let go. All right? So I just want to make this video